What's up, y'all? This is Mike Manza with another Manza Faust Productions video. And, yeah, been a little while. Don't really want to go into details about it. Y'all don't want to hear any details about it. If you've been following me on Instagram, you've seen a few of these records I'm going to talk about later on in the video. But I want to jump on here, talk about them. I'm excited about a lot of these. And, yeah, but let's do what the title of this segment is. Stop, watch, and listen, and let's watch some shit. Let's talk about some shit that I have watched. Yeah, so let's get into that. Uh, these are all Vinegar Syndrome, pretty much, from the February package. I'm still working on the March package. I didn't do an unboxing for March this month, this past month, because I didn't get a lot. I fucked up and ordered all of the partner label and sub-label stuff on the 16th, and it ended up mailing out that exact day. So kind of dropped the ball, but that just means the April package is going to be fucking huge, probably. So you'll get a video in April. Just have to wait for that shit. But anyway, showed off a lot of these in the February package video, but wanted to follow up on what I thought of them. So first up, we got a 5-card stud. This is the 8th VSL title. Really love what VSL has been doing. I've been talking them up a lot. The only one that really kind of underwhelmed me was Sex Mission. Just didn't really vibe with that one as much. It was pretty much the mood I was in when I was watching it. But this one, right away, hooked me in. This is a 1968 film, classic Western, directed by the guy who did True Grit. What is his name? Henry Hathaway, and he did a ton of like really classic westerns. I believe this is pretty much like pre-spaghetti, or maybe like the Italians were starting to make like big names. But this is like a classic American western, um, that kind of style. You got Dean Martin and Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum kind of doing a similar character in a way to what he did in Night of the Hunter. Um, Sort of a corrupt preacher in it for his own kind of ends, kind of taking over this town and gaining the trust of individuals in the town while trying to get away with various crimes and sort of his own sins. But a little bit of a different character. You find out he's working with others, and it's not so much his ends, but the ends of others, which is kind of an interesting play on this character trope. Dean Martin is he's like an organizer, dealer for these, this, like, they meet up and play cards pretty much. And because of this kind of illegal card gambling, there's like some controversy around it. Members of, I believe it starts with there's one member who they catch cheating, and they pull him out on a horse and hang him, and then throughout the coming days, more and more of the members of this kind of group of card players start showing up dead. And it's just this kind of mystery. Who's the one who's kind of the rat in the operation? Just a lot of interesting kind of mystery to it. We could pretty much know right away who's responsible for it, but it's interesting to see Dean Martin and all the other characters kind of go through the steps of trying to figure all this out and stop the killings. There's some really great set pieces for some of these killings. You got the classic betrayals and everything like that. It's played off very, very well, and this definitely has the vibe of a definite classic Western. You also got Roddy McDowell, a very early role, and Yaphet Kotto, which I think this is one of his like earliest films, and they're both fantastic, uh, real good plays on these characters. Yaphet Kotto plays more of like a bartender, and Roddy McDowell's one of the card players in the group. A lot of other great like character actors throughout the film. This is a great like ensemble cast, and it's like gorgeously shot. Like a lot of the westerns of this time period, especially coming from the American studios doing stuff with like John Wayne, some of the early Bronson films, stuff like that. Just the landscapes and the cinematography behind a lot of these films, the way it looks, the music is all incredible. Great like score throughout this. It's acting just amazing on all parts. It's just very great story, very and it keeps your interest. A lot of my problem with westerns is a lot of it just seems kind of cliche and uninteresting, but this takes a couple of turns that you don't quite expect. Some characters you do like in the beginning end up being kind of corrupt and in it for their own means. Just very interesting play on this sort of western. So yeah, 5 card stud, very cool. Excited to see later today what they announce as the 10th VSL. I don't have the 9th one, Story of a Junkie. Like I said, that was part of my order I did on the 16th, but I'll probably get it this month. So, number 42 on the VSAs, we got A Man Called Hero. And man, I was blown away by this. And this is a little bit different than your typical kind of Hong Kong fare that they'd be getting on the Vinegar Syndrome VSA line. This is a lot more kind of serious, great action set pieces. You got like amazing fight choreography throughout this. You got Anthony Wong showing up as an old kind of like guru master kind of character. Really great performance from him as always. You got like so many cool kind of like, I don't want to say cameos, but appearances from like pretty prolific Hong Kong actors. This is directed by Andrew Lau, who also did Infernal Affairs. I believe he did the entire trilogy. And this is just incredible. It's a very epic tale. Takes place during the 30s in New York City. People coming over from China. In like even earlier than that, I can't remember where the initial. I believe it's like the early 1900s, 1910s, where a man called Hero Hao. I cannot. I'm horrible at pronouncing shit. He comes over in the 1910s as kind of like indentured servant, and his brother, I believe it's his brother and his wife. He marries her right before he leaves. They both come over and try to find him. And you kind of get that parallel story along as you also witnessing the sort of his son coming over to America to try to find him, and sort of because he pretty much was over in America when his wife was pregnant with their son. So it's an interesting kind of two parallel stories going on, but it's very played straight. You got a lot of like the main villain of it's pretty interesting. You got a lot of like bigotry and racism of the time. The Klan comes into focus a bit. Sort of how Chinese Americans are treated within the structural system of America at the time is pretty interesting. Yeah, very, very great. And you also got great fight sequences. The choreography is amazing. Both the father and the son, the son's name is Sword. Um, they're both very powerful, and the kind of interactions together are very emotionally driven and very well done. So, yeah. VSA has been doing a very great job with a lot of these Hong Kong films, and so is the main line. And I'm excited always to check these out. But this one really stands out. It's a lot more of a serious take, not as like goofy and over the top. There is some, humor to it for sure, but there is some emotional stakes in here, and there is some legitimately very well done sequences. Besides the crazy acrobatic fight scenes, which look really cool. Uh, yeah, so if you have not checked this out, I believe it's based on a manga series as well, which is pretty cool. So, Man Called Hero is from 1999. Definitely has, uh, you know, that mid to late 90s action film kind of vibe. Kind of a more of American kind of feel to it, but it definitely works very well within the Hong Kong canon. So, yep, Man Called Hero. So, on to the main line, Vinegar Syndrome titles. We got The Playgirls and the Vampire. This is from 1960. So this is like the same year as Psycho. Years before. We get a lot of the like exploitative, sexploitation kind of stuff in the later 60s. Russ Meyer, Herschel Gordon Lewis, Night of the Living Dead. Later on, we also around this time, I think, was the beginning of Hammer horror. This doesn't really have much of a Hammer vibe to it at all. Definitely an American kind of, more throws back to the classic 30s Universal monster films. But it works. It's kind of sold as exploitation, but it's very tame. This is pretty much like a PG rated film, at least compared to the rest of like what you would expect from Vinegar Syndrome in this vein. But it's entertaining. It's kind of like basic plot. The black and white looks incredible. The atmosphere is pretty decent. It does kind of it doesn't really move that quickly. There's other classic 60s horror movies that have been coming out on Vinegar Syndrome this year that work a lot better than this. This is an Italian production, which, yeah, you could definitely tell this is an early Italian production. This is before Bava, the Giallo, everything like that. So you definitely have a more kind of like classic throwback to like a 1930s or 40s, like Universal big haunted house sort of thing. But it's enjoyable enough. The cinematography's good, acting's decent for the time. Yeah, not really that much to say about it. Kind of just came and went, but pretty decent if you want to check it out. If you like that like early '60s horror filmmaking, you'll definitely get a kick out of this. It's interesting, and that's what you gotta love about Vinegar Syndrome is that they're digging up this stuff that nobody else is really touching. Might be even forgotten, but it does have a significance. It is important to get these films out there, and yeah. So yeah, if you want to pick that up, I would recommend it. But if you're just like me and you're not really a big fan of this kind of thing, it's not mandatory. And up next, man, this was incredible. I had a great time with this film. Um, it's just, and I was really excited for this. I'd never seen this before, and it was hyped up a lot. They even announced it as like one of the, um, when they give like kind of hints. They just came out and said this was going to be the one of the early 4K releases of the year, Phase 4. Sal Bass directed. I believe this is the only film he did as director, but he was I might be wrong about that actually, but he was a special effects person on movies. Typically, this is about, it's kind of a, like, mankind wiped out by bugs. It kind of has a vibe a lot similar to that of like an Indominus Dream, where it's just this like kind of containment problem spiraling out of control. Sort of like, it's pretty much like the first steps to the ants getting more, the ant populations getting more and more stronger, evolving, more intelligent, and sort of the kind of mistakes mankind makes along the way. We focus on these two scientists, one in statistics, and I can't remember what the other one does, but they're uh, is following like this kind of solar event, kind of kind of a confusing, but we have this evolution of this population of ants in this area, so they've kind of secluded off the area. People are getting consumed. We got a dog that gets completely eaten alive by these ants. You got some people that are found infested with ants, totally consumed by them. You got these two guys come across a family in a nearby area, and the daughter is the only survivor, and she's totally freaked out by all these ants that killed her family. And you get this kind of like revenge mentality from her. It's like she's frightened of the ants, but she also like hates them and wants to know why they did what they did. It's interesting. One of the statistics guy is definitely trying to figure out like a language for the ants. It shows early on him sort of working through different patterns on how they communicate and assigning human language to it, which is pretty interesting. Um, there's great suspense, real bummer ending, but it works so well. And you can tell this is done by a guy who really made his craft at doing special effects. There's a lot of really cool effects. The different ant evolutions. The queen ant towards the end is definitely a very cool effect. And it doesn't seem dated. This is from 1974, and man, this just looks amazing. The 4K on this is really great. I watched the theatrical version, which is like 84 minutes. I don't know how. I think like the extended version is not that much long. It's like 90 minutes, but very, very cool kind of atmosphere to this film. And as usual with these UHDs, you get a lot of great special features. You get this awesome booklet. Wow. Some essays. Very cool. So this is definitely like my my highest recommendation for the month of February. Really great, exciting film. And it's cool to have it on such a nice format because I don't believe it's been available that widely on a digital format. So, yep, Phase 4. Very cool. And with that, we move into records. So starting off, I went to Bridgeport a couple of weeks ago for their WPKN record fair, which I went to last year as well. Very cool. Bought a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to show off the main titles that I was really excited about. First up, we got Extinction of Mankind and Misery Split Apocalyptic Crust. This was put out on Profane Existence, I believe in like 2000, 2001. I believe this is an OG press. I love these two bands. Extinction of Mankind. Nice insert. I believe it's just on black vinyl. Yep. So, Extinction of Mankind, really love their kind of classic sort of little bit of Hell Bastard, definitely like an early stenchcore, crust punk kind of vibe. Hell Bastard, Axe Grinder, that sort of thing. Real classic sound, but real driving. Great drumming on these. I really love their album Nightmare Seconds from the early 2000s, and that was really the album that got me into them. I always had this on CD as a kid too, but really great. And the Misery stuff on here is really great too. Misery is more of like that later sort of Nausea, going into the 90s stuff. Definitely fit like the vibe of a Profane Existence, or even at the time Havoc was really big. Scold, all those kind of anarcho and crust labels at the time. Very epic crust from Misery on this. You get like the slow intro of Bulldoze, very like emotional and like this kind of like majesty to it. Very comparable, I guess, to something like this sort of like the later Amoebics stuff, when they got a little bit more kind of grandiose and triumphant with their sound. But really great. The tone on the guitars from Misery, I always like. It's a lot deeper and like heavier a tone than a lot of these bands would use, which is pretty cool. Real guttural vocals, aggressive as all fuck. I really love the other song on here, Parade of Hate, on the Misery side. Very cool. And Extinction of Mankind, just like real driving. Axe to Grind is a classic. Apocalypse, Despised, Life in the Abyss. Just really solid split from both of these bands. Happy to have a copy of that. And something I've been after for a minute. Love these OG UK 82 records from the early 80s. This is Abrasive Wheels, When the Punks Go Marching In. This is fucking amazing. This is out through No Future Records. Just hit after hit on this album. I have their 7-inch, which pretty much gets re-recorded on this. The Vicious Circle. We got Vicious Circle is the first track on here, 1982. Great kind of ripper anthem. BBC, real great like anthemic chorus to that. Great sing-along kind of stuff on here. Voice of Youth, Burn 'Em Down, Slaughterhouse, Attack, First Rule. You got the when the punks go marching in, sort of Saints go marching in play, which is pretty fun. Just really solid anthem after anthem, and this like great like Oh, Riot City, not No Future. All right. So, yeah, it's on Riot City, who also put out the Vicious Circle 7-inch, but really, really great record. Just classic, street punk kind of stuff. This definitely goes up there with, like, the Partisans and the early Exploited stuff, GBH. Yeah, classic fucking record. Really happy to have this. Been after it for a while, like I said. So, last couple of weeks, been really getting a lot of cool stuff from Static Era. And again, I always hype up Static Era, and for good reason. Jay is killing it. He gets in a lot of really good records you never see, like just one after another. I've been coming across just insane stuff from him. I did miss a couple, but that's what happens, man. You can't get them all. But yeah, if you're not paying attention to Static Era and you live in the Milford area or around the Milford area, if you're near the Metro North line, or you can find them on Discogs. In the description of this video, I included their link tree, which has all their different links. Go check them out. Go follow them. Pretty much, if you want to get the really good stuff, I would recommend going to the store, shopping around. Jay is doing an awesome job running the store. Great to have a conversation with, but like he knows what he's getting, and he like is one of the best salesmen we got right now. And it's cool to support these smaller, more community-driven sort of shops. Red Scroll is not going anywhere. They're doing a great job of what they're doing, for sure. Definitely support them, but man, you can find some real good deals. He gets all of the, new releases, really good hip-hop section, which is kind of rare with these smaller kind of, but he gets a lot of great new, like, issue hip-hop records, some reissues, some newer stuff, a lot of great shirts. He's just, like, really covering a lot of the bases. So definitely, if you have not checked out the shop yet, definitely put it on your regular stop list if you can, because man, he's doing incredible stuff, and I really appreciate him putting in the work, putting in the effort, and especially the having a label behind it where he's putting out really cool stuff from local bands, just getting the attention on these like up and coming bands. That's what it's all about. He's been doing some in-store sort of events for record releases, promotional releases. Also had a couple of in-store acoustic performances, which are pretty cool. So yeah, if you have not checked them out, down in the description, definitely support them if you can, and if you're in the area. So one of the albums I got, sort of on the lower end of the Grail spectrum, but this is like one of my favorite albums by this band, probably my second favorite. In on the Kill Taker by Fugazi. This is just fucking stacked. This is an original, I believe it's an original Discord press. Not exactly sure, because they're all pretty much identical. That's the problem with Discord. Some of these like reissues they do are just the exact same thing. It's really kind of hard to tell. But from what I was seeing on Discogs and all the different notes and stuff, it's pretty much original. Faucet Squared, Turning the Screw, Smallpox Champion, 23 Beats Off, Great Cop. Like, man, this thing is ruthless. It's definitely probably their most aggressive album, in my opinion. The guitar tone on this is just very brittle and like just uncompromising kind of viciousness on this album. Really, really great. Still great like melodies, sing along kind of stuff. Especially like Great Cop. Like the chorus on that song is just so infectious. Really, a lot of really cool, like, kind of guitar passages on this as well. This is probably like one of my favorites. It's either this or Repeater, the second album, just because Repeater definitely has more of a. It's like I always kind of say it's like the Gang of Four record that Gang of Four never got around to doing. When they went in more of their sort of like new wavy direction, which I was not a fan of. I sort of fall off after I believe Songs of the Free was the last album I was really into. And but Fugazi, man, they always go off in different directions too. You know, you kind of hear them and you think you know what their basic sound is, but each album definitely has its own kind of identity within their discography, which is very interesting. So yeah, definitely happy to have another Kill Taker in the collection. Awesome album. All right. Up next, we're getting into the creme de la creme stuff. These next three are some of like the most insane scores I've gotten in ever, and just going in there, it's been blowing my mind. Just going in there and being like, Jesus Christ, where did you get this stuff? There's been some collections that have come in. I'm just like, whoa, insane. And like I said, I've slept on a couple of things. I missed like one or two records that I really wanted, but just seeing the stuff coming in is just like one after another, week after week after week. I'm just blown away. Very cool. And this, I thought already went, and I talked to Jay about it, and he said, "Yeah, I got this for you." So, jumped at it, and holy shit, man! You got a Side by Side. You were only young once, so don't fuck it up. Great early Revelation record. This is an OG. You got the this is second press, which is still pretty OG. You got the classic label. You got this original insert. The nice, like, you know, old newspaper print reminds me a lot of the tape paper Maximum Rock and Roll was printed on when I first started getting that. What's really cool about this, Revelation Records, you got the OG address on it, the New Haven address. Very cool. Yeah, just classic straight edge hardcore. More in the vein of stuff like Youth of Today. Pretty straight ahead stuff, not so much in the more melodic, burgeoning, like emo core kind of stuff like Bold, or you know, the pop punk stuff of like Gorilla Biscuits and stuff like this. This is a lot more like straightforward, definitely, and even before like Judge went in a more like metallic, even stuff like Inside Out, which went more metallic and kind of that sort of direction. This is just straight up like positive hardcore, you know, just true as fuck. Definitely, I would kind of compare it to like a less like kind of like a more straightforward version of Chain of Strength, Uniform Choice, that sort of stuff coming out of California in the mid to late 80s. Just one of those like standards from 1988, 1989 that you cannot go wrong with. The early fucking Revelation Records stuff, I've talked about them like so many times. I did a whole video, which is probably my second favorite label retrospective that I've done, because those were definitely records I was very familiar with. I was able to talk about them in much more kind of detail and knowledge. This definitely, like, along with those early records, this like stands out, like with the Sick of It All, Warzone, Gorilla Biscuits, Youth Today stuff. This is great stuff. My Life to Live, Living a Lie, You're Only Young Once, Side by Side. You just like classic. You got the classic Silhouette cover, which is LL Cool J off the Radio LP, I believe. So that's just awesome. I love this stuff. So very happy to have this in the collection. It's a beast. Okay. Next. This. I remember when the day I went and they had this, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get that right away. I was going to the Bridgeport thing on Saturday, and I'm like, you know what? I want to make sure I got enough money for the Bridgeport thing. Walking away, man, I'm like, yo, I need to grab that. You know, it's like, and I'm happy I went back because, man, this is one of the coolest records I've gotten in a while. This is the Jesus Lizard with Goat. Holy shit, man. This is, the name is Goat, and this is seriously a Goat. This is one of the greatest of all time on Touch and Go Records. Yeah, just, so fucking good. Then comes Dudley, man. Like, that opening track, it's the bass line and these weird kind of, like, the way the guitar playing is on this. David Yow's vocals are just so unhinged, and it fits perfectly with the music that is within this, because, like, as unhinged and off his fucking mind, out of his fucking mind as he sounds, the fucking music backing him up just makes it sound so much more psychotic, so much more like uneasy of a listen. I just love it. This is definitely up there with like other stuff on Touch and Go, like fucking Big Black, songs about fucking, a lot of the Big Black material, and this is just like kind of head and head with each other. Just such a good fucking record. Seasick, the I Can't Swim, I Can't Swim, just so fucking nihilistic. Mouth Breather is a real good kind of track. Southmouth, Rodeo and Joliet, like, just so fucking aggressive, man. And this band was definitely, like, throughout their career, putting out some of the most, like, fucking hostile sounding fucking noise rock, whatever you want to call it. Definitely up there with a lot of the Amphetamine Reptile stuff, like Cows and Helmet, all these kind of bands in the late 80s and early 90s who were just making just such fucking brittle and like caustic fucking noise rock. It was just so fucking good. This stuff is like definite like unhinged glory. So yeah, fucking Jesus Lizard, man. Like, this, like I said, this is, the title of this is Goat for a fucking reason, man. This is one of the best fucking albums of its time. Just so fucking good. Just thrilled to have this. Happy I went back for it, because you could not. And again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this. You saw my hyped up post on it. Just, this is one of the greatest scores I've ever gotten. You never see these. You will never see this. I guarantee that. I was looking through a big pile of 7-inches that he got in, and came across this one. I'm like, yo, put that one aside. I need that. I don't care what it's gonna cost. We were on fucking Discogs looking up prices. It's definitely the most I've ever spent on something, but that's for a good fucking reason, man, because this is like, you're never gonna see this. I need this. This is like one of my favorite labels, one of my favorite records. This is such an important early power violence, whatever you want to call it. This is the early 90s. This fucking embodies it. Neanderthal, fighting music. Like, such a simplistic cover, but does really sum up what you're getting. You got the nice classic insert. And this is the second press on red, which is actually going for more than the original, shocking enough. Got the classic label. I mean, I believe it's artwork by Chris Dodge, who ran Slap-A-Ham. Can't show you the B-side because it's, yeah. If you know, you know. And really cool. Got this awesome sticker. Yeah, I am not putting that on anything. It's fucking great. Like, not only will you never find this record, but you're never gonna find it with a fucking sticker. Are you kidding me? It's insane. Such a great fucking release, man. Slap-A-Ham, like, off the chain throughout their career. You know, really known for their power violence kind of stuff, but they also released releases from Flipper, Burning Witch, which became like Sun and Goat Snake later on. You got some Melvin's material, really great catalog throughout, and obviously all the great stuff from Infest, Spaz, Crossed Out, the Neanderthal split with Rorschach, I don't think was on Slap-A-Ham. I believe that was on something else, but that's a very great record as well. Just incredible. You got you got D'Annunzio from Infest doing vocals on Brain Tourniquet. If you remember from last year, that band Brain Tourniquet had a release called An Experience in Pain, and that is directly off the liner notes of this record. Just the bass playing, like Eric Wood, I've always said is like one of my favorite bass players across any genre. Definitely very unique. He definitely plays it like nobody else. A lot of slide chords, this kind of jazzy, very avant-garde. And it's early on in power violence. This is pre-Man is the Bastard, pre-Charred Remains, pre-Bastard Noise. And you can definitely hear his unique playing that you hear on those later projects on here. Very noisy, very brittle, very like feedback, aggressive. Fucking Domino on vocals. You really only have like Eric Wood and Domino. Eric Wood on bass and vocals, and Domino on kit and guitar. And like I said, Joe D'Annunzio from Infest shows up on the Brain Tourniquet track, but Mind Eraser, Kelly, and Breed. Just holy shit, fucking Crawl, the first song, just such a sludgy, painful fucking thing. You got Neuter on that side as well, just like more of a rager, real fast. Definitely falls into a more kind of like Crossed Out kind of vibe, but like throughout this, man, just the sound of his bass is so odd when compared to a lot of this kind of stuff. Even compared to someone like Man is the Bastard, which was a lot more kind of streamlined. He also had kind of like a weird avant-garde project called Cyclops at the time, which is really fucking cool. I can't remember how that one was pressed, but I'd like to get a copy of that as well. Just very dark. I mean, this stark, just like black and white cover really tells you kind of what you're in for, and the kind of aesthetic of the look, even though you have that early sort of Neanderthal skull, you have a much more detailed version for Man is the Bastard's kind of logo. This is just so fucking nihilistic and dark and kind of brooding. And yeah, you just gave birth to like some of the most like fucking visceral music out there. So many bands take from this. And it's not just like a power violence. You got like definitely post-hardcore would be listening to a lot of this. A lot of the post-punk bands later on. You know, even like some of the more like kind of emo violence-y, whatever you want to call that kind of thing. You do get a lot of influence with this. Like I said, they did a split with Rorschach as well, and that band is very important in this kind of early development. Noise rock, all that kind of stuff coming through on this record. This just goes off in so many different territories. You know, the bass playing does remind me of some of like the early bass playing on some of the more like bass heavy like grindcore kind of stuff. And there is the differences between like the sludgy power violence kind of vibes and grindcore. But when this like fucking speeds along, gets into like the more faster kind of elements, just it's so fucking good. Like definitely taking both of those elements and using them just so like well together, and they just meld together so well, just into this completely desolate kind of sound, just so fucking punishing. Neanderthal, man. And shout out to Eric Wood. Just such an amazing catalog of work from him. I said a lot on the Instagram about it as well, but yeah, just fucking so thrilled. Like I said, so much in this video. If you get the chance, get down to Static Era, support Jay. And if you can't, maybe go on the Discogs, because he's always listing pretty cool stuff on there, and maybe you can get something before I get my grubby hands on it. But yeah, that'll about do it. I know it's been a while since I've made a video, but you know, I'm still here, still making stuff, working on a few other things, music wise, yada 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 yada. You know, so I'm still here. Like and subscribe if you have not yet. Get down there in the comments, talk about these records, talk about these movies. There's some like cool grails you got recently that you want to go off about. Is there anything from this year, new releases that you're really excited about? I know the new Mutilation that just dropped is fan-fucking-tastic. I cannot wait to get a physical copy of that. Talk about that. Dude, Mutilation, one of the best French black metal bands, in my opinion. Just fucking chef's kiss on that new record. Just insane amount of cool stuff coming out already. It's only April, and there's probably like 30 records I'm already like fucking head over heels about. The new Master is really good. Spectral Voice, that record's just like punishing. Still want to check out the new Coffins record, great Death Doom out of Japan. Most of you probably already know that. So yeah, really great year in releases. Can't wait to get more and more and share it with y'all, as I always do. If you want to find me on social media so you can follow this stuff before you see it on here, see all the cool shit I've been getting that I won't show in this video, you know, just like there's so many other records, you know. It's just I've been really killing it this year. If you want to follow me on there, I'm on Instagram as the Hordes of Manzerfaust. And yeah, that'll about do it. So yeah, this is Mike Manzer with another Manzerfaust Productions video. Stay fucking metal.